They say the devil has many names: Beelzebub, Lucifer, Prince of Darkness. But in medieval Europe he took a different form. He didn't live in hell. He walked among men. For over 600 years, entire villages trembled at the mention of his name. And here's the part they never told you: this demon might not have been a myth. He might have been real. Stay with us, because what you're about to hear is not just the story of a demon, it's the tale of mass hysteria, missing children, secret cults, forbidden knowledge, and a mysterious figure who kept returning century after century, as if death had no grip on him. In the heart of medieval Europe, long before the Enlightenment, knowledge was feared. Superstition ruled every shadow. And in the middle of this darkness, a name began to spread like wildfire. Krampus? No. Satan? No. This demon had no official name, but to those who survived his wrath, he was the Black Monk. First mentioned in a crumbling 9th century manuscript discovered in a forgotten monastery in southern France, the Black Monk was described as a towering figure in tattered robes, his face always hidden. But it wasn't just the appearance that terrified people, it was what followed. Wherever he was seen, disaster struck. Plagues, fires, mass suicides. In 874 AD, a sleepy village in the Pyrenees was wiped out overnight. Only a single boy survived. When monks found him days later, he was speaking in Latin despite never learning the language. What did he say? He walks again. He walks again. This wouldn't be the last time. Over the next 3 centuries, reports of a black-robed figure appeared from Austria to England. Entire towns recorded sightings. Sometimes he was seen watching from bell towers. Other times, standing motionless in graveyards. Children would vanish. Cattle would die. Churches would burn. And always, the Black Monk had just been seen. But here's the twist. Every written account described the same details: his height, his silence, the way the air grew cold around him, even though these villages were separated by borders, language, and time. So how did people who never met, in regions that never interacted, all tell the same story? One theory is that it was just mass hysteria. After all, the Dark Ages were not kind to the human psyche. Disease and death were daily companions. But the deeper we dig, the harder it is to dismiss this mystery as just imagination, because something strange started happening in the 1300s. His legend began evolving, becoming more specific. In 1324, during the trial of Alice Kyteler, one of the first women accused of witchcraft in Ireland, records show that her accuser claimed she lay with a being, black and tall, hooded in shadow, who gave her knowledge of herbs and poisons. They said this being was not a man, but not an animal either. The description? Exactly like the Black Monk. Another witch trial in Germany in 1472 echoed the same. A woman named Greta admitted under torture that she had been approached in the woods by the one in black, the Silent Walker. She claimed he taught her to speak with spirits and never to die. The records didn't consider that part important. But we do, because death might not have been the end for the so-called demon. Here's where things get weird. In 1666, the Great Fire of London destroyed 13,000 houses and left the city in ruin. People blamed the usual suspects: God, sin, bad luck. But buried deep in the city's official records is an eyewitness report by a merchant named Elias Penn. He claimed he saw, the night before the fire, a man in black standing near the bakery where the fire started. When he tried to speak to him, he said the figure turned but had no face. Just a void. Penn died in an asylum 3 years later, repeating just one sentence over and over: he never sleeps. He never dies. Let's pause. We now have a string of connected stories stretching from the 9th century all the way to the 17th. All describe the same figure. All linking to death, fire, and forbidden knowledge. But could it all be just myth? That's what skeptics think. Until 1894. But here's something even more disturbing. In 2013, during renovations of an old church in Romania, workers found a secret chamber behind the altar. Inside were 13 portraits painted over centuries by different hands in different styles. Yet every portrait featured the same figure, tall, cloaked in black, with no face. One painting, dated 1451, had the words "I'll Vigilant" written beneath it, Latin for "He watches." But the last portrait? It was signed in English, dated 1998. No one knows who painted it. In recent years, reports of sightings have started again, quiet ones, buried in online forums and obscure podcasts. Hikers in the Alps have posted photos showing a black figure watching from distant cliffs. Urban explorers in abandoned European castles have found symbols matching those on the Prague pendant. One British paranormal group claims they captured a cloaked figure on thermal camera, completely cold, no heat signature, yet casting a shadow. Is this just a new wave of internet myth? Or is something ancient creeping back into the modern world? Now here's the chilling part. Every legend of the Black Monk ends the same way, with silence. No great battle, no vanishing into light, no final confrontation. Just silence. As if his work was never meant to end, only to pause. So maybe the real question isn't whether he existed, but whether we've ever truly been alone. And if you hear whispers in a forgotten language or see movement where no one stands, don't look too closely. Some eyes stare back. That's when archaeologists discovered an unmarked tomb underneath an abandoned abbey in Prague. Inside, they found a skeleton far too tall for a normal man, almost 7 feet. The bones were burned on one side as if exposed to extreme heat. But the most bizarre thing? The skull had no jaw. In medieval legends, it was said the Black Monk never spoke with a mouth, but with thought. Coincidence? Maybe. But the coffin contained something else, a blackened robe preserved through unknown means and a pendant with symbols not belonging to any known language. Even modern linguists can't decode it. So what exactly are we dealing with? Let's explore some theories. 1. A supernatural entity. Some believe the Black Monk was a demon, perhaps a fallen angel. His knowledge of herbs, poisons, and languages suggests something far beyond a peasant or priest. His reappearances over centuries, unchanged, point to immortality or resurrection. 2. A secret order or cult. A more grounded theory is that he wasn't a single person, but a role, a mask passed down through generations. A secret cult of monks using fear and mystery to control populations, manipulate power, or preserve ancient knowledge. This would explain the continuity and the vanishing. A time traveler or interdimensional being. This is the wild card. Some conspiracy theorists claim the Black Monk was not from this time or this world. His sudden appearances and disappearances, his unnatural presence, and the untranslatable symbols all point to something not human. Could he have been watching history unfold? Guiding it? Manipulating it? 4. A hallucination shared across generations. Psychologists argue it was nothing more than mass hysteria fueled by fear and ignorance. But even this falls short. Too many reports. Too many consistent details. And how do you explain the pendant? The uniged robe? The skeleton? Here's something we haven't told you yet. In 1997, a fire broke out in a small village near Strasbourg, France. It barely made headlines. But among the debris of a burned-down library, firemen found something strange, a blackened journal. Inside were hand-drawn sketches dated 1996. One sketch showed a hooded figure watching children from the edge of a forest. Another showed a medieval church and a man standing in front of it with no face. The name of the man who drew them? Elias Penn III, a direct descendant of the man who saw the monk in 1666. So, was the Black Monk real? Or just a story we keep telling ourselves in the dark? We may never know the truth. But here's the terrifying part: what if he's not gone? What if he's just waiting? Watching? Waiting for the world to forget him again so he can return? And if he does, will we be smart enough to notice before it's too late? Thanks for watching MythicMarvel. If your mind's still spinning, you're not alone. But don't stop here, go watch our previous video, The Darkest Conspiracy in World War II. You won't believe how deep this rabbit hole really goes.